Welcome back to the channel, Black is One, where the agenda is to elevate the consciousness of the black race so that we can unite, build, and prosper. I'm still in the Black History Month series, and in this video, I'll be addressing the origin of the art of writing. Before I go into the video, I just want to take 8 seconds to say something. Why am I doing these videos? I'm doing these videos because I want us to understand that modern, quote-unquote modern or Western civilization, the way we are living now, the technologies we see and use are not necessarily any gifts to us. We had our own technologies and knowledge and advanced societies before they met us. I'm doing this series to show that much of what they claim to have given us, it was us who gave it to them. Anyway, I did promise to keep the series happy and glorious, Black Glory. So, like I said, in this video, I'll be addressing the origin of the art of writing. So, let's get into it. There was a time in human history when humans could neither read nor write. I know that is difficult to imagine, but that's the case. There was one time when nobody could read and nobody could write. But as they say that necessity is the mother of invention, as societies get more complex, it becomes a necessity to record things and transmit information and receive information in a format that can be understood by people. That is what writing is. Writing is the use of symbols, for example, letters and punctuations and spaces, to communicate thoughts and ideas in a form that can be understood by others. Now, if you were to listen to certain lecturers who lecture on the literary culture in ancient Africa, one thing is always constant. One thing they always repeat like a punchline in a poem, like a chorus. And it is that Africa had an oral tradition. Everybody know that Africa had an oral tradition. That our ancestors did more speaking and storytelling than writing. Then they compare Africa with Europe, which has the opposite. Europe, they say, has a writing tradition. Well, they are half correct. We, meaning Africans, had an oral tradition, yes, but we also had a writing tradition. It was the Africans, the Egyptians, who invented writing. As I say, I know that some of these things are hard to digest, and it might just come off as me just being Pan-Africanist, because we are so accustomed to hearing that everything African came from somewhere else, without the ability to write down ideas and concepts and transfer them to other people. A complex society like the one in which we live today is unimaginable. Just imagine a man that nobody being able to write and to record things in this kind of complex, populous society. It will be chaos. But over the years, we just understand that writing is something that we need and something that we use, and we never really concern ourselves too much with its origin or where it come from. But in that space, somebody saw the opportunity for politics and propaganda, and that is why I have to be making a video like this. So what the Westerners start to do now, as an illustration of their supposed superiority, they started to put oral communication and writing into a kind of good, better category. Writing is put in the category with classical and modern, sophisticated and advanced, while oral communication is categorized with primitive, ancient, simplistic, everybody can do it, nothing to see here kind of vibe. And by default, where they'll put Africa or black people, they will say, and have said, and have taught us that we were not a writing people. We, meaning Africans, were not a writing people. which means that we are not in the category with the advanced and sophisticated people. We are the primitive ones, unsophisticated and simplistic. Yet it was us who invented the art of writing. Isn't that ironic? The very art, the very thing which they used to categorize themselves as modern and advanced was invented by us. Right now, if you Google who invented writing, you will see Mesopotamia, which is modern day Iraq, parts of Iran and Syria, Kuwait, those places, Turkey. You will see that the Sumerians in that part of the world invented writing. And they back up their claim with what they call a Sumerian cuneiform, found in a place named Uruk, later to be known as Babylonia. The cuneiform was 3,300 BC, plus or minus 100 years. That is on the one hand. But on the other hand, you have the Narmer palette, which is also an early piece of artifact that they used to investigate the early origins of writing. That piece of artifact was discovered in a place called Hierakonpolis in Egypt. It's something like a poem giving adoration, paying homage to the pharaoh. And in Abydos, still in Egypt, another piece of artifact was found in what they call the UJ tomb in 320 BC, plus or minus 100 years, with some tags or some labels, that somebody labeled the different pieces of pottery, just let's say. There were just some labels, like you'd be in a studio and you write some labels to say, this is a mic, this is a computer, this is a desk, this is a pop filter, and so on. 3200 BC in Abydos, in Egypt. So it's a tussle between Sumer, the Sumerians, and the Egyptians for first place. Now, according to the experts, the two writing systems seem to be very different from each other, which suggests that they may have developed independently. Based on my reading and my research, no one seems 100% certain which one is first. And both of them is within the, 350 to 300 BC, give and take. But in my humble opinion, I think it is Egypt. It was the Egyptians who invented papyrus, from which we get the word paper. But either ways, the conclusion is this. Contrary to what we have been led to believe, that Africans only had an oral tradition and only learned to appreciate writing after making contact with other civilizations, Africans were pioneers when it came to writing, when it came to the development of the art of using symbols to communicate ideas and concepts in a form that can be read by others. And guess what? Even if it turned out that the people of Sumer were the first to write, according to Professor Chancellor Williams in his book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, and many other historians, the ancient Sumerians were black. So there's that. Black is one. Happy Black History Month. Like the video, comment on the video, share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so, if you support this kind of content. One love.